Okay, here we go with a look at the new offering from Old Fort Arms. This is the Arrowhead takedown stock. In this video, I'm going to show you how to assemble the stock onto your Ruger 1022 takedown. Give you a close look at the stock while it's assembled, and show you what it looks like being fired out at the range. So these are your two components available from Old Fort Arms. Let's set these off to the side. And here is our 1022 takedown that we'll be using for this installation. This is Trail Treader's 1022. He was kind enough to let us borrow it for this video. Alright, before we get started, let's go ahead and perform a safety check and promote that safe habit. You can see that there is nothing in the chamber, and there's nothing in the magazine. Well, we're handling a safe firearm, so let's go ahead and begin. Alright, so start with a 5/32 Allen key. Remove the takedown screw of the 1022 receiver. Put your safety halfway between safe and fire, and then remove your receiver. Set this off to the side. And then that same Allen key will remove your screw on your fore end of your barrel. And then a 9/64 Allen key removes this barrel band. And then your barrel. Didn't quite get it off. There we go. Old Fort Arms provides you with two new screws to accommodate the dimensions of their stock. You will not be using your original factory takedown screws for the receiver or for the barrel. Alright, so you've got two lengths of your Old Fort Arms screws. You'll be using your shorter screw for the receiver section of the stock, with your safety still placed between fire and safe. Take and rock your receiver down into the stock. Take your takedown screw. And then just snug that down, finger tight. Alright, then take your barrel and your fore end, or your handguard, line it up with the threaded hole. Make sure that you're started correctly so you don't cross thread anything, and then snug that down. Alright. Now, as I pointed out, these are threaded along the bottom end of the handguard here, so you can put a rail on it so you can add accessories. Line my rail up. Get it started. And just snug it down. Alright, set that off to the side. Now, this will accept AR-15 pistol grips without the beaver tail on it, but if you installed a regular A2 grip, you can see what kind of gap there would be. I like the placement of this because my finger falls very nicely on that trigger, whereas some of these grips are closer on a 1022 AR style stock, and then your finger just falls through like that, And I like that they took the time to back it up so your finger falls more naturally on the trigger. But I do dislike that trigger gap between the front of the pistol grip and the back of the trigger guard. But if you dislike that gap, Old Fort Arms has you covered. There's an adapter here that will allow this to accept AK-47 grips. And then that fills in that gap nicely. Then we'll take and put a buffer tube into the back of the stock. And if you're really practiced, you can probably just adjust your castle nut and then pull this tight and have it correct. I just like to take a spanner wrench once I'm in position and just give it a good snug down. Verify that you're centered up. Put a nice adjustable stock on there. And we've got a rail here, so let's go ahead and add a vertical grip. Now that we're all assembled, take and place your barrel. And there you are, all assembled. Complete that look with the full capacity BX magazine. Now, with the positioning of the buffer tube and where your Chica is going to fall on your stock, it's just not physically possible to use a buffer tube and get that thing positioned low enough to acquire this line of sight on your factory iron sights. So if you're going to use this stock, you will not be able to use your factory iron sights. You will have to install a rail and then add your optic. Alright, well, let's take this thing out to the range and see how it feels in hand. Alright, now here at the range, I have not been using the fuller capacity magazines for the 1022 lately because I haven't found them to be terribly reliable, but this is not my gun, this is not my magazine, and the owner hasn't had any problems with this, so maybe it will work. Cross your fingers. But here is a look at the Old Fort Arms Arrowhead stock for the Takedown 1022 out at the range. And that worked out real well. Alright, let's load the magazine again and put some more rounds through it. Alright, well, here's a close look at the Old Fort Arms Arrowhead stock for the Ruger 1022 Takedown. It's a big world out there, and we're bound to run into a shady situation. Until then, keep your gear on you.
I'm really, really sorry. I apologize unreservedly. I offer a complete and utter retraction. The imputation was totally without basis in fact and was in no way fair comment and was motivated purely by malice. And I deeply regret any distress that my comments may have caused you or your family. And I hereby undertake not to repeat any such slander at any time in the future.